Welcome to Comical Recovery. I am your hostess with the mostest trauma, comedian Jessica Byrne, creator of the upcoming cartoon Bud Ease, winner of multiple East Coast comedy contests, and 35 consecutive years of life experience in the School of Hard Knocks. Subscribe, hit the like button for recognition, tell all your friends about your new addiction, because sharing is caring. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for our second round of Comical Recovery. Today's topic is AA. Woohoo! If you've seen any of my videos, you will know how excited I was to get involved in AA. My sobriety date is January 29th, 2020, and that is where my recovery began. Prior to that, I was just living in denial, and I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of fun. I was happy to live there and really happy to point the blame at everyone else. I'm like my ex-fiance being an alcoholic, and definitely not me. Long story short, all of those experiences helped me realize what I was once I got into the rooms, and that's what helped me recover. So today I wanted to share a little bit about my journey into recovery and how my alcoholic mind is still very much alive and well within me. So let's start with recovery. I had been going to therapy for probably close to 3 or 4 years at this point. And one glorious day, I showed up drunk. And not my version of drunk, because my version of drunk is a lot more drinks than I had. However, it was the version of drunk that got me to where I'm at today. And that was 2 beers, 2 what I like to call kitty cocktails. Those are the drinks in the short cup. And 1 big kid cup, because that's what I like to call it. It's a big kid cup because I'm a big kid now. All of that stuff is just me justifying. So in my mind, I only had 5 drinks and it wasn't a big deal. But someday, when you're grown up and ready to see the last drunk day that Jessica had, I will show you that video. It's definitely more mortifying for me than it will be for anyone else. But it is definitely that. It's mortifying. I was a jerk, ungrateful, just all sorts of fun things. And I was late to my therapy appointment, and I was angry and unwilling to take responsibility for the circumstances of that being my fault. I wanted to blame everyone else that was driving for being too nice on the road and letting everyone in. And why didn't they know that I was behind them and they should move? Like Moses parting the Red Sea, get out of my way. I have somewhere important to be. I have healing to have, I need to be healed right now. By the way, old drunk me is a valley girl. You'll find that out soon. So I was angry and late and had tons of guilt and shame around the decision to stay late at work so that I could feed my addiction. And in complete denial, by the way. For the last 2 years, my therapist was like, maybe you should go to NA or AA. And I was like, how about I just make jokes about it? That sounds like way more fun. So I looked up the names and I did just that. I made jokes about it. Never went to the rooms. Just did some stand-up comedy about it. Most of them was a hit. Unless people were alcoholics, then they didn't like that shit at all because they didn't want to hear it, which I fully understand. Now, My therapist used to ask me things like, how much do I drink? And I'm always hearing things like, how much can I drink? And turning it around like a personal challenge. That was how, and is still how, my alcoholic brain works. Everything is a personal challenge. Oh, how much can I drink? Let's find out. I have a liver of steel. And I think part of that comes from being raised in Wisconsin, where the breast milk comes at an average of 9% alcohol percentage. However, my mom, her breast milk was 190 proof. I'm a moonshine baby. I was an unaware mess, in complete denial of having a drinking problem. I was engaged to an alcoholic in California, and that's when I experienced being a dry drunk. If you don't know any of this terminology because you've never been into an AA room, a dry drunk is someone who isn't drinking but doesn't have a program of recovery, and they are angry all the time. A program of recovery is like, well, obviously it's 12 steps, right? And it's a new way to live. It's a new way to handle obstacles and circumstances. But I know as a newcomer, when I came in that room, I didn't understand that. And I was so angry at the list of obligations that I was staring at from across the room. Because that's how I saw it. It was a list of obligations. I'm still not good enough. I'm still supposed to fit into this box for everyone else. And 2 years in and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of meetings, I do not feel that way anymore. And I use those ways to handle my life situations with other things, which is why in the intro I listed just a few things that I also am recovering from or have recovered from. And the goal for these podcasts and videos is to share the knowledge that I have gathered through many years of research. And as I say that, I look on to my bookshelf and see all of these awesome books that I've gathered little nuggets from. There's so much information out there. It's hard to go through all of it on your own. For me, it was really hard to go through any of it sober. I didn't realize that I couldn't comprehend anything I was reading because my brain was muddled with alcohol. And there is a fog that is created from my alcohol abuse. And I'm speaking specifically from my perspective because it's none of my business where anyone else is in life. And their habits are theirs to tackle. But from my experience, getting in the rooms of AA was the best thing I ever did for myself. Now, let me be clear, it wasn't a bed of roses by any means. I had new things to discover about myself, and I like to think of the rooms and the people in the rooms like a sandbox for me to learn how to handle people in the outside world that don't have a program. Because there are just as many, if not more, sick people in those rooms than there are on the outside. Maybe more on the outside, but it's a sandbox. You build a castle, you see who smashes your castle. And then you find better people to be around that aren't going to smash your castle. And then you learn how to stand up for yourself and tell them to stay away from your castle. Be prepared for a lot of weird metaphors, because that's how my mind works. Long story short, I've been to a lot of meetings. They said 90 and 90. I did 180 and 90. I'm an overachiever. I was going to say a bit of, but I just am. I'm an overachiever. And I just like to make things right for me. I used to like to make things right for everybody else, even though everything was wrong in my own life. And now I just worry about me and my life. And I'm okay with that, looking like it might be selfish, or in my line of vision, it's self-care, just good self-care. And so that's what I'm here to share, is recovery and self-care, recovery from all things, or any of the things, just life in general. It was a pleasure sharing my entry to AA with you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you for listening, sharing, subscribing, and passing me around like your favorite doobie. Remember, sharing is caring. See you next time for more Comical Recovery with your friend and host, comedian Jessica Byrne.